Good morning, everyone. My name is Arslan, and you are watching Proper Pariksha, the place where we strive for academic excellence in a simple and comprehensive manner. So, today we'll be revising the chapter 10 of Mensuration because we have completed all the exercises, all the concepts, and all the solved and unsolved examples of the concerned chapter. So, without any further delay, let's start. So summary or what have we discussed is basically discussed in order to first objective is to revise the chapter. Second is to understand if we have not missed any topic or any concept or any formula or anything like that. So starting from the first point, perimeter is the distance covered along the boundary, forming a closed curve when you go around the figure once. Basically, it is trying to tell that perimeter is the total length of the boundary that a particular region is covered with. That is the definition of perimeter, and this is the definition as per NCERT. Coming to the second point, perimeter of rectangle, of a square, of an equilateral triangle. Rather than these three, we have discussed of many other, like we have discussed about rectangle, then we have discussed about a parallelogram, which is a sheared rectangle that is also 2 into L plus B, but the properties of parallelogram are different than that of a rectangle, and those are mentioned in chapter 5 of understanding basic basic elements. Okay, so perimeter of square has also been discussed as it is a special case of a rectangle in which length and breadth become equal to each other. Therefore, the adjacent sides become equal to each other, and before that rectangle already had the opposite sides equal to each other, and therefore all the sides become equal to each other, and so only one side's length is sufficient to find the perimeter of the square. After that, we also discussed about the perimeter of the rhombus and how the rhombus is a special case of a square, that is when it is compressed or expanded to at its adjacent corners, and the properties have also been discussed in chapter 5 about the diagonal properties, the sides properties, the angles properties, and the angles made by the diagonals properties. Perimeter of an equilateral triangle. So rather than equilateral triangle, we can find the perimeter of any of the rectangle, and that is by adding the length L1, L2, and L3, whatever is mentioned. And we have also discussed about its area. So what are the types of triangles? That has also been discussed in chapter 5, understanding elementary shapes. Chapter point number 3, figures in which all the sides and angles are equal are called regular closed figures. That is also what we have discussed, that there are two types of figures. One are standard and other are non-standard. So standard figures are those who follow a particular logic, a particular order, or a particular rule among their lengths, among their edges and their angles. However, non-standard shapes do not follow any such rule, and they can be made of like this, and anything that does not follow a rule will be a non-standard shape. Among the standard shape, there are two different types. One is the regular and another one is the irregular. Regular shapes are like, for example, a square is the regular shape, and on the other hand, a regular pentagon is the regular shape. However, a pentagon can also be created where not all the sides are not equal to each other, something like that. So that will be an irregular standard shape or an irregular closed figure, and this is a regular closed figure. So what is a standard and non-standard difference? Both of them are closed, but the only difference is that they follow a particular rule, a set of command, as a set of logic among their different edges and angles. These do not follow any. Regular, all the sides equal up and they are closed figure. Irregular, all the sides are not equal and still a closed figure. Amount of surface enclosed by a closed figure is called its area, or in other words, it is called the region bounded by the curve. Question point 5 says to calculate the area of figure using a squared paper, the following conventions are adopted. Ignore the portions of the area that are less than half a square, but we have considered also those who are less than half and more than half a square to get a much more approximate answer which is more close to the real value. And these are the steps. So for the NCRT purpose, for your exam purpose, if such steps are asked or if the answer are asked, you can follow this procedure. But the much more precise and better procedure is to follow the area of total squares, area of totally shaded squares, area of approximately totally shaded squares, then area of half squares or less than half or more than half squares, and area of partial squares. So partial squares are uh, generally divided into, let me just rewrite it, area of totally shaded, area of half shaded, and area of partially shaded. They can be divided into three types as we have done in the previous videos, that almost 0.9% shaded, and one are like 0.1 or 0.05% shaded, that very least amount of the square is shaded, and some are like 0.4 to 0.6% shaded, that is some are less than half, some are more than half. So we take a 0.5 to balance them out. If exactly a half square is counted, it takes 1 upon 2 square units. Okay, so this we have discussed in much more detail, so that procedure will explain this set of basic steps. Point number 6. Area of rectangle and area of a square is mentioned as per the NCRT, but we have also discussed about area of a rhombus. Area of a rhombus is half d1 into d2. We have also discussed about area of a triangle, that is half into base into height. We have also discussed about the area of a circle, that is pi r square, that is pi is 22 by 7 or 3.14, and r is the radius of the circle. What is the relation between radius and diameter? It is radius is equal to diameter upon 2. We have discussed these things also, so that when you come to the senior classes, you can get the idea of what a circle is beforehand, and you will be familiar with the topics which are going to be discussed. Okay, so now coming to the other thing, like we have also discussed about the okay, I have told about it over here, that okay, I did not tell about the circle. So we have also discussed about the circle, and the perimeter is 2 pi r. We have discussed that in our previous videos. I just forgot to mention it over in this video, so I have written it down, 2 pi r. So with this we conclude that our chapter 10 mensuration has been completed as per NCRT, along with some additional concepts which are not mentioned in the NCRT. Rather, they will be mentioned in the future classes such as class 7th or class 8. So if you have a little bit understanding, a little bit familiarity with the topics of the future classes, you will not be afraid when you reach that particular level. So if you like our videos, do hit the subscribe button and like and press the like button. And if you want any suggestions for us or feedbacks, or you want to support us, comment in the comment section or connect with us on any of our social media platforms, LinkedIn or Facebook. And keep revising, keep making notes, and keep practicing. So till the next time we meet, goodbye.